Hey everyone, you're watching Soundwaves TV. Chasta here. Very excited to talk to an old friend, and I mean old like you've been around Soundwaves TV for quite some time. Since season 2, though, you haven't stopped by. Michael Molenda, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Hey.
So good to see you.
I'm glad to be back. Thanks for inviting me back.
Yeah, of course.
I just thought you thought, no, we were not having him back.
Are you kidding? No, I've been dying. In fact, here's a little fun fact. Right before we hit record here, I was like diving into this conversation, and Dennis is like, stop talking. You're doing the thing. Because I'm so excited to talk to you.
And we can't help ourselves anyway.
I know, we can't. You have so much wisdom to share.
Oh my God.
You're such an industry guy. You know all the things. You've done a lot. And so I want to just kind of set the table. So longest running editor-in-chief Guitar Player magazine.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
Yeah, amazing. You're working right now as a content producer for Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Yes. Guitar Player, does all the bands, does all the things. That's just like a tip of the iceberg. I won't give your full resume, but what do you call yourself? You do so many things in the music industry. Like when you shake someone's hand, you say, Michael Molenda, blah, blah, blah. What is that?
I guess, what are you supposed to say these days?
Music extraordinary.
Content creator. What I'm supposed to say is content creator.
Yeah.
Just musician. I mean, I don't, it's weird because I should probably sell myself more, but I kind of am not comfortable doing that. So, hi, I'm Mike. I'm a musician.
Well, thank God you don't have to as much because your career has done a lot of that for you. It has led the path.
I've been really lucky.
Yeah. So tell us what is happening right now. We're going to start with what's happening with you personally, and then I'm going to dive into the music industry.
Well, right now, as you said, I'm article content producer for Guitar Center, so it's kind of moving from guitar player to another thing called guitar.
Yes.
So, yes, it's a retailer, and I know some of your listeners probably have different views about that, but it's been an awesome experience for me. I'm able to write the same type of things I did at Guitar Player. I don't have to, there's a sales aspect to it, but I'm still diving into like helping people learn how to use stuff better to follow their creative inspiration.
To improve.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's, and I still get to mess around with a whole bunch of guitars and stuff. So what's wrong with that?
Right? Living the dream.
And then I've had a long relationship in the music industry, obviously. So it's just been weird that, for so long you do this thing. It's like, nobody cares about me. And then all of a sudden you get to this point where it's like Universal has signed me as a solo artist and a writer.
Yeah.
And they did a remix of a song I did in the late 90s called Wages of Fear.
Yeah.
Kind of a good song for now.
I was just going to say, it's very poignant.
Yeah, I didn't know I had the power of, but back then it was probably, who was it? It was something weird was happening that made me want to write that. I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're back around again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I also produced this artist, Douglas Von Irvin, a song called Day of the Dead, which Universal also picked up. Really excited about that.
Congratulations.
It's going to radio. They went to radio this month. Okay. So, and just sitting in Universal meetings. My longtime friend Ted Mason owns MI5 Recordings, which is a Universal subsidiary. He's been really nice at helping me get things happening. And even the latest thing that just happened today is that I think, I get invited to play the big guitar festival in Wrocław, Poland.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
cool.
a mind blower. And Ted's just let me offer them the ability to put the festival out as live albums.
Oh, so, what? That's super
so
cool.
it's great for them because they're looking to kind of spread out to be, not just Poland, but more universal, more international. Wow. And again, thank you, Ted, for making it happen.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Big congratulations to you. That's like breaking news right here on
Soundwaves
TV.
I just want to help everybody.
Yeah, I know. And you do. And you have for so many years when, we're talking about whether it's gear stuff, reviews, breaking things down, you've always helped people improve at their skill of playing this instrument. And you play multiple instruments. Okay, let's dive into the music industry. This is what I was nerding out a few moments ago about, because working in radio and running a rock radio station, everybody, assumes you have all the answers, right? Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I get Universal's attention? How do I get played here? And I feel like the industry is really tricky because it has changed so drastically so many times over the last few decades that people sort of feel lost and they want like these definitive kind of steps or answers. When bands or artists come to you, are they asking you those types of like guide me kind of questions? And what do you say?
Yeah. Well, first off, you're Chastity on my speed dial to tell me what's right about anything. So if you're going to tell me you're not be able to figure this out, then
I'm trying to
figure it out. This is going to be really
out.
disappointing. But
I'm digging in. That's for sure.
I mean, everybody's always, I think, ambitious or not. Mm-hmm. And there's certainly I would never look down on any musician that just want to do this for fun, because you should get involved for that.
Yeah.
That should be the main thing that drives you. To have fun or you just have something that you can't get out. And I mean, for me and a lot of people, I'm sure people you've interviewed too, it's like they can't not do this.
That's right. That's
if
what
there
I
was
always say.
if there was 50,000 people in an arena or 5 people in a bar,
yes,
they're still going to do it.
The meaning is the same.
Yeah.
The why is the same.
Yeah, and I think that your mental health is probably better if you're doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
But ambition is a big deal, and being a musician is expensive. Mm-hmm. So being able to find some return for all the hours and expense you put into your instrument and touring and putting gas in your car and all that stuff, it would be great. So I do get a lot of that. And I get a lot of it that's interesting when we were nerding out. Mm-hmm. It's, there's still a perception amongst a fair amount of people, whether they're young or not young. Oh, the record companies are just like they were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're going to invest in me. They're going to give me tour support.
Oh, man.
They're going to market me. All I have to do is write songs and play, and my life is going to be golden.
That's the shock of the lifetime to like have to...
Yeah, because one of the you probably hear this complaint too. It's like, oh man, I hate it right now because I have to learn how to use. Yeah, I have to learn how to use TikTok and Facebook, and I have to produce videos, and I gotta.
It's probably the main complaint I hear, quite honestly.
Oh, really?
Got to be the booker, the promoter, the marketing, the manager, I have to be a good musician and write good songs on top of all of those other things.
Yeah,
and networking and all of it. It's crazy.
Yeah. But the cool thing though is that if we're using like a Silicon Valley thing, it's like. Yeah, that kind of sucks in one way, but the way it doesn't suck, it's you own your IP. Mm-hmm, you're controlling all that.
You're controlling the brand.
Nobody's reaching into your pocket to say, I just gave you $250,000 of tour support. I gave you money to record your album.
Yeah.
I own your songs.
Good point. Very good point. Now, you're working with Universal. Mm-hmm. Can you open that box a little and tell us what that looks like for you and what that might look like for artists in 2026? Mm-hmm.
Well, the good thing is that the content is way open. And I think that sometimes even a big company like Universal, I mean, streaming is the most horrible thing ever.
Yeah, we all agree.
And if I can complain about that, it's like, it's our fault as artists. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to give the tech companies our music.
Lars had it right. I have a shirt that says that.
Yeah. Well, but somehow we got fooled by, we'll get you out to millions of people and people will know who you are. And it's like, no, you're still using my stuff for free, and you're not giving me a reasonable income back.
Yeah.
So the devastating thing for me is not to be able to tell somebody, whether it's a high school class or whatever, it's like, yeah, you can raise a family doing this if you're smart. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have to be really smart and really dedicated to even raise a family. I'm not even talking about 4 swimming pools and 6 Bentleys. I'm talking about sending your kids to school, that kind of thing. But I think that you have to be aware that you're a partner in your own career, and you have to be aware of what's happening now. This, I get a lot of pushback, is like, well, I don't want to listen to what young kids are doing, or I don't want to sound like Billie Eilish, or I don't want to sound like Pink or Lady Gaga or The Strokes or whatever, who's ever the band of the moment. Youngblood, who I think is awesome.
I do too. I love him.
Can I do a sidebar real quick?
Please.
So at Guitar Center, he came out with a white Epiphone guitar, his signature guitar. Mm-hmm. And he shows up at Guitar Center Hollywood. The line's down. There's like 3,000 plus people there.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to meet with Gibson, who owns Epiphone, after this guitar, introducing his guitar. He shows up and goes, oh, I'm not leaving until I say, I almost makes me kind of cry, really.
Oh my God.
I'm not leaving until I say hello to every single person here.
Oh, he's just as great as I thought he was.
Amazing.
Oh, yes.
And he's here, I'll sign this.
And
Here's
he
my
loves
record.
on people. Like, you can tell. He wants to, like, connect.
Exactly. And he didn't leave until, I mean, they're getting phone calls from Gibson going, he's supposed to be here, and he was like, no, I'm not leaving. And literally, he kept his promise. He met every single person there.
So great to hear.
Now, the other side of that is, man, that kind of dedication to your fan base, we should all have that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I know bands that play in clubs that is like,
I don't want to go to the merch table. I go, what?
Excuse me, I'm trying to get my amp off stage.
Exactly.
Just like,
I've seen that too.
So I mean, that's a big part of it. But I think the business is still trying to figure out what this new thing is. I mean, I might get some pushback on that, but I mean, let's face it, they are. And how you can help them as an artist is to realize what they're going through. It's like even the bars. It's like, don't lie to winners in Pacifica that you can bring 100 people into a show if you can't. That just messes it up for everybody. And including winners. They're expecting, well, maybe I'll hire another bartender, blah, blah, blah. And, so fibbing about things is never good. But being supportive and realizing where you have to be. One of the first things that, when Universal remixed Wages of Fear for me, which is a Ted Mason remix, the first thing he said was, well, we got to modernize this groove from the 80s.
Okay.
And it wasn't like a complete retooling, but it's like, oh, duh, there should be a live dance and energy coming out of the radio. There should be, here's how are people listening to grooves these days? Is it sparse? Is it thick? Is it how much bass is there? Blah, blah, blah. All these things, hit emotional points in everybody's life. It's like when you heard the Beatles for the first time, or you heard Pink for the first time, or whatever. There's always an emotional thing that happens. What is that? And ignoring it is not going to get you into the door of a record company, because and then we get in this whole thing about, I'm sure you've heard this too, about, well, I'm an artist, this is how I see it, and that is great, do that, but being a commercial artist, like being a commercial actor, or a commercial sculptor, or a commercial F1 driver, you have to make concessions to the commercial, to doing business, because they need to sell your stuff to somebody else to make it worthwhile to bring you in.
And that's the hardest part, I think, of the business entirely. And that goes to the radio side as well, right? When people want me to play the deepest track off the deepest album of their favorite artist. Well, the problem is that makes you, as that single solitary person, happy. But it doesn't bring us ratings. Therefore, we can't sell ads. Therefore, the whole thing comes crumbling down. It is a business. I mean, the music business is a business. And I respect art just as much as anybody. I mean, hell, we do this show for art. That's the purpose. But you have to find the middle ground of going, okay, I'm an artist, but if I want to make a living off of this, even, just average American living, whatever that is these days, you do have to understand that there are concessions. There are some, you're going to have to bend a little bit to understand what works to the masses. It's just mass appeal. That's all.
Yeah, and
it's
I
tough.
think sometimes, obviously you can't, if you don't sell ads, the radio station goes bye-bye, so you're not helping anybody.
Yeah, we're gone.
Yeah.
then nobody wins.
But I got to say, you and Dennis, who's hiding over there somewhere, I mean, I think you guys do an amazing job at helping local artists too, so you kind of have it both ways,
Well, we pushed for that.
Well, yeah.
I was told no for about 8 years until I became the boss, and I was like, aha, it's my time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for fighting the good fight.
Well, as long as they don't look our direction, don't make eye contact. No, I mean, it is true. That was the moment where it's like, okay, this is a corporation, and it's finding those. I grew up in a bowling alley. Don't laugh, but like I think about the bumpers that you put in the lane, right? Finding those bumpers and going, okay, like here's where I can bounce off. Here's where I can push the limits, and I will always do that for musical artists that need it, and deserve it. This is a very controversial thing, I think I say. I forgot we were on camera, by the way. Sometimes, we're just talking now. But sometimes that we say is like, bring your stuff to us and don't suck. And what we mean by that is like, be the brand, be the IP, like do the full thing. Come at it as best you can from every angle. Would you agree? Is that what you try to tell people?
Well, and now, I don't want to be like my grandpa. I had to walk 40 miles in the snow to go to school, but my generation didn't have the advantages that we have now. That I take full advantage. I'm sure everybody does. There wasn't YouTube. There wasn't. You can't type into Google and research or use ChatGPT
Right.
and figure out everything about everything. So you can look at what did artists do? What are they doing now? What did the Beatles do? What is, name an artist today? Why are they popular? You can see connecting lines, but a lot of it is like really wanting to engage the audience, basically, which is something that blows my mind. Where I'll still go out to clubs because I play a lot, and again, I'm not. Please don't write her notes because this is my fault. But I still see bands where it's like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
And not even moving, looking at their instruments. They don't even care. It's like they're doing a rehearsal.
Right.
And I realized there's a little bit of the shoegaze thing, and there was a lot of shoegaze bands that are really famous. I get it. But for the most part, people want to feel like, oh my, I'm having a great time. This band is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think they want to hear it on the radio too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Joel Selvin said something a long time ago when I took his rock class at San Francisco State, longer than I want to admit, where he said great records sound like they're live.
Yeah, oh man.
And I mean, I went, and I'm a fan of production too. I love, a million little things going on. But the basic impact of that record has got to be, oh man, I'm sitting somewhere listening to the coolest thing ever that's just leaping out of my speakers, whether it's in my car or listening to my stereo at home. And he's right. And that's, again, part of engaging people. You got to grab their, like you say, it's not like, don't suck is a great thing. Yeah.
I'm just putting it as plainly as I can.
Yeah. But sometimes, no one likes to be criticized too, but if you're not moving forward, then you're doing something wrong. Yeah. And sometimes when I consult with bands, it's like, well, I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well, what you're doing now working? Is what you're doing now where you want to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm never going to, I'm not going to take my sunglasses off. I'm not going to engage with the audience, or I'm not going to, I'm not going to stop wearing my Hawaiian t-shirt, even though I'm in, and I look like not the guy that's in the same band.
Right.
Or even, bands where there are 4 or 5 members. And I was like, are you guys playing the same song?
Oh yeah. I've seen that too.
The drummer's maybe doing this and the bass player's like, and the guitar players, and then, I don't know if there's a xylophone player like ding, ding, ding. I mean, at least look like, because you're going to confuse the audience. They're going to go, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know if these guys like each other.
Yeah. And to me, it all boils down to one word, which is connection. It's connection between band members. It's connection between the artist and the audience. I have said this a million times, and I will for the rest of time. I will give people a lot of grace on talent, right? Like one of my favorite, well, not one of my favorite artists of all time, Janis Joplin. She might not make it today. Because like you look at what marketability means, right? Like you go on one of these shows and you have to look a certain way and sound a certain way and be a certain way and hold yourself a certain way. And she was anti all of that. She was who she was. But the thing she did most was she connected. She bled on stage for people. You felt her. When she was saying those words and screaming those things, you felt it from her soul.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me is like, if I have that, I don't really care what you sound like. You don't have to hit the right key. Like as long as I'm with you and I feel you, we've made it to the place we need to get to.
Absolutely.
I wish more people understood that. Sorry, I am on my soapbox now.
No, that's fine. Well, on the Janis Joplin thing too, which is so amazing, like with the Monterey Pop Festival film, where she comes on stage, no one knows who.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
And Mama Cass is like in the audience going like,
I know.
Just like, what just happened? I mean those kind of reactions are priceless.
It really is. Yeah. But I think that's what it boils down to. Is that connection.
And also, if you want to get in with the business, there's probably more opportunity now. There's no more gatekeepers. There's no one saying, there's no A&R people per se that say, we want an acoustic guitar, we want you to sound just like Fleetwood Mac or blah, blah, blah. You can be as weird as you want. And one thing I like about some of the newer artists, 20-somethings or even earlier, is that they know how to build a song, but they don't necessarily care about, let's say, the Beatles typical thing or what maybe production in the 70s, 80s, and 90s was. They'll have a weird part come out of nowhere.
Right.
It's like, where the hell did that xylophone part come from?
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
So you have the option to be as weird as you want, as long as you're connecting.
Yeah.
Figure out what that means for you, for your music, and then just be smart about, the business. Someone's going to have to sell you, and they're not your mama or your dada. They don't care that.
Tough love.
But really, this is my best song. It's like they don't care.
Yeah.
They have to sell it to somebody else.
Yeah. I hear that from almost every artist that I interview. It's like, oh, they had an attachment to this song that barely made the record. And that like hurt their soul, because it's very personal as a musician, and then you just have to set it down and go, okay, well, this may be my favorite and it forever will be, but this is the one that lots of other people are attracted to.
Well, you can have it both ways. That can be your perfect song, and record it and listen to it in your car, and maybe, a label doesn't pick it up, but it doesn't mean it's not your perfect song anymore. It just means it might not have worked for whatever the label you're on was trying to do. I mean, you can totally have it both ways.
Yeah.
You don't have to go, But I think too, it's like, especially now with streaming being so horrible, that's my soapbox.
Yeah.
Why did you do it, musicians? Why do we do it? We were dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, off soapbox.
Yeah.
But I think that you do have to figure out, have a lot of side hustles, And I mean, for me, it's like, I write constantly, just like, it's no different than Picasso. How many times did he figure out a sculpture? No, that's wrong. How many times did he redo it? How many times did, Bernstein or Stravinsky, sit there poring over their sheets trying to find exactly the right horn part,
Yeah.
It's not, you should work a lot.
Yeah.
And if you work a lot, then you tend not to run into that, oh, that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
Because you've got 100 of them.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make all of them work.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, I hate that one, it's like, okay, that's fine. I got
5 more.
Yeah, I got more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because nobody, I mean, even the greatest artists ever, there's always somebody that said, you suck.
Yeah.
So if you're not the greatest artist ever,
Yeah.
The
Rolling Stone didn't like Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Wrote really bad reviews about Zeppelin. So.
And it, you shouldn't take it personally. I mean, people have different opinions about everything. Yeah. Cars, TV shows, salt.
Yeah.
My favorite salt is this. So I mean, you shouldn't take it personally. But I think. Well, I mean, let's face it. Ego and anxiety holds a lot of people back.
Sure.
And it is a business, so you just have to keep pushing it through.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to boil it down to some tangibles. You said, I like something you said, work a lot, right? Work hard, obviously. That's an easy one, but work a lot. Keep whittling away. Do it well. And what I mean by well, when I say, I always backtrack when I say don't suck. What I mean is put your best foot forward. Don't send a half-assed demo to somebody. Make sure it's the best that you can.
Especially if you know it's half-assed.
Yeah.
You should have sung a different vocal, a better vocal, but you did not.
Right. Do not. Nobody wants to hear your practice. Get it right before you send it off. And keep working really hard at it and be the IP, be the brand, do all the things and show up in that professional manner. And what else would you add?
Well, we could talk for 2 hours.
I know. And I would love to do that.
Yeah. Can we talk for 2 hours, Dennis?
Dennis is like, we will. We'll continue this conversation. Every season we'll have a Michael Molenda update.
And this isn't from me, but I'll just reinforce it. You're not going to make any money off streaming.
Right.
You might develop an audience that you can sell something else for. Oh, there's 2 things. So, look for licensing. There's TV shows, movies, advertisement. They all need content.
Yeah.
You can make so much money licensing your music as opposed to waiting for that, was it 0.00006 per download or whatever. So meet licensing people. Look at YouTube videos about licensing. Go to meetings, meet people, blah, blah, blah. I think licensing is going to save your butt, I think.
Yeah. We'll have all the other side hustles, but make that one the one that you really dig into.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really where
great.
Most of the money is. You're not going to make it streaming.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I just met with a Silicon Valley guy who wants to start a label. And he says, I want to start this label based on Silicon Valley type strategies. So I'm going, well, what's this about? But he said this, the weirdest thing that was so awesome. It's like, if I sign a band, they need to have a plan. And what that means is do you want to sell to this or that? Do you want to get better gigs? Do you want to get licensing money? Do you want to tour?
Yeah.
Do you, and just have a plan that if I'm going to give you this deal, that you're going to enhance that by saying, my goal is to tour the United States.
Yeah.
And here's how I'm going to do it. And you're going to help me because thanks for putting this record out because that'll help me. Or I'm going to sell a whole bunch of T-shirts because I know I can make more money selling my cool T-shirts than I can selling downloads. So I'm going to use your label to get out there so I can start selling products.
Yeah.
But have a plan is not necessarily what... I'm sure you've seen the same thing. What are you doing?
Please listen to that. That's so important.
Someone else is going to give me the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I just make the music.
Yeah. I've been in those situations where somebody else gave me the plan, and guess what? They also took all the money too. So
exactly.
Thanks for the plan. Didn't mean I was going to be bankrupt after.
That's right. Absolutely. That's such a good one to end on because a lot of the times I'm like, "What's your goal? What's next for you? What's the plan? What does it look like in the next year or 2 years?" And they just kind of deer in the headlights, and you're like, you gotta have a plan.
Isn't it weird that they can't answer that?
It is, but it happens more often than I'd like to admit.
It's one of those dinner party conversation starters. Do you have a plan for your music career? Everyone's like, where's the coffee?
Okay, Professor Chasta. No, I don't have a business plan. Well, get one. Michael, you are such a treasure. Thank you so much for being here. You are a musician. You're actively gigging. You do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. If you want to send people to just one place to find all the things you're up to, where should they go?
I guess, thanks for, now you just short-circuited my brain.
I know, it's a lot.
I play in a surf band, surfmonster.com. Yep. I play in this really rocked up Monkeys tribute, which Dennis has been very nice to help out. Yeah. Troublewithmonkeys.com. Yeah. I guess that Universal just put me up on their streaming thing. So look for me there. Michael Molenda. The Reverb Nation thing,
that's where I saw
which
that.
Which is weird. They still use Reverb Nation.
I know.
But again, you do the right work. They got me 250,000 fans like that. Did you see that?
That's amazing.
Not because anyone cares about me.
That's awesome.
It's just that's Universal's
That's the network.
Muscle.
That's
the muscle you need.
Exactly.
If only I had T-shirts to sell.
Yeah, I know. That's your next goal.
I know. Thank you, Chasta. I'll get a plan. I promise.
I know, right? He's going to get a plan. All right, you guys. Find him, Michael Molenda. He's everywhere. The answer to where you're at is everywhere. Just put it in the Google machine and you'll find him. Thank you for watching Soundwaves TV. I hope you took notes. That was a good one. We'll be right back.